Good day, everyone, and welcome back to yet another rendition of Inside the Inferno. A lot to talk about today in the world of Sun Devil sports. From the diamond to the court, we've got you covered. I'm Cash Money Versailles. With me at the desk is Rome Katie. And Rome, it's great to share the desk with you today.
Same here, Cash. And, I know Kobe Bronstein mentioned last week how hot it is outside, and it still is, but it doesn't take away from how hot ASU athletics has been this past week. You look at baseball and softball that are both nationally ranked, and we will also put a spotlight on some teams that have been diamonds in the Desert Gravel.
Without a doubt, Rome, to kick things off on today's show is Tanner Buck, who's got you covered with the top Sun Devil stars in his very own segment, the Sun Devil 6.
I'm excited to bring us into this week's edition of Inside the Inferno with the Sun Devil 6. Starting us off at number 6 is Arizona State softball outfielder Yazzie Avila, who extends out making the diving catch against North Carolina. Staying on the diamond at number 5 is infielder Katie Chester, who staples a moonshot into left field not once but twice in back-to-back innings. Staying in the left-handed batter's box at number 4 is ASU outfielder Landon Hairston, who hit 2 soaring shots in the same game for the second time in a week. This time against San Diego State, diving in at number 3 is Hairston again, this time stretching out for a diving catch in left center to rob a base hit from the Mountaineers. Soaring in at number 2 is Hairston, making his third appearance with a solo home run and then following it up later with a grand slam against then number 17 ranked West Virginia. In grand fashion, at number 1 is outfielder Ashley Mejia, who had a pair of grand slams, setting softball's single RBI record with 8. That is all for this week's edition of the Sun Devil 6. Rome, back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks for highlighting those plays, Tanner. Number 23 ranked Arizona State softball brought the brooms out of the closet this past week as it took care of business in North Carolina. The Sun Devils began their quest on Wednesday in Raleigh when they bested the NC State Wolfpack 7-3. The Maroon and Gold then set its sights about 26 miles west in Chapel Hill for the Mizuno Showdown last weekend. ASU came, saw, and conquered in the 3-team invitational and won all 4 of its games against the host UNC Tar Heels and Marist Foxes. They also outscored its opponents 39-9 in that span. The Maroon and Gold were powered by its electrifying attack at the plate throughout the week. As Tanner highlighted, outfielder Ashley Mejia drove in a school record 8 RBIs on 2 grand slams in the 15-3 victory over the Tar Heels Saturday. Along with that, first baseman Katie Chester bashed 2 home runs in Friday's 9-2 win over North Carolina.
With the Mizuno Classic behind them, the Sun Devils were looking forward to a 3-game set against the Kansas Jayhawks at UK's very own Oroka Ballpark. Following a doubleheader yesterday, the series is tied with the rubber match currently slated for 10 a.m. local time tomorrow. Sparky's squad took the series opener 8-5, which featured a wild 4th inning. Both sides scored 4 runs in their respective halves of the frame, but after, ASU took the lead and never looked back, with the dagger coming in the 7th inning thanks to a pair of RBIs from infielder Brooklyn Ulrich and outfielder Kaylee Pond, as well as right-handed pitcher Kenzie Brown collecting an unprecedented 6-out save for her first save of the year. Tempe's team fell flat in the second game, however, where they suffered an 11-7 defeat. An early 1-0 lead for ASU was crushed by the Jayhawks as they floored their way to 9 unanswered thanks to a pair of bombs from infielder Anna Souls and catcher Ella Boyer. Despite infielder Katie Chester hitting a 3-run homer of her own and some more run support in the top of the 7th inning, it came too little, too late. Now heading into the getaway game, it'll likely be pitcher Kenzie Brown in the circle, who's projected to toe the slab for Arizona State. The Maroon and Gold will look to limit Boyer's impact at the plate as she's 5 for 7 with 4 RBIs in the series. It also needs to keep an eye on first baseman Emma Souls, who's 3 for 7 with 6 RBIs herself, but with Brown boasting a 7-3 record with a 3.00 ERA and 128 strikeouts, along with a red-hot outfielder Kaylee Pond, Chester, and catcher Emily Shep, they don't need All-State insurance because they're in good hands.
A current Sun Devil is doing his best impression of former Sun Devil great Barry Bonds and taking the college baseball world by storm. Our Dimitri Kurlik has more on Sparky's SAR sophomore.
Thanks, Rome. ASU baseball is one of the most storied programs in college baseball, considered a blue blood of the sport. So considering all that, the seasoned outfielder Landon Hairston is having right now is one we may remember for quite a long time in Sun Devil lore. Hairston is in his 2nd season with the Maroon and Gold. He's coming off a 2025 campaign where he hit .333 with 4 home runs and 37 runs batted in, as well with a .907 OPS in 54 games. That's a good stat line by itself. But then you compare to what he's doing this season, and it is mind-boggling to see the improvement he's made. In 29 games, Hairston has increased his batting average by a full %, and he's already eclipsed his home run and RBI totals from last season. Because of his production, he's now on the midseason watch list for the Golden Spikes Award. Hairston looks to become the first Sun Devil since Mike Kelly back in 1991 to win the award. Last week, in the team's 14-4 win over West Virginia, Hairston hit his 4th Grand Slam of the season, tying a program record for the most Grand Slams in a single season. And despite the Sun Devils dropping 2 or 3 games to the Mountaineers last week, Hairston hit 4 home runs in 3 games. His efforts were awarded with the Big 12 Player of the Week and the Golden Spikes National Player of the Week. With a nationally televised game on Saturday against Arizona, Hairston looks to continue to make a name for himself, not just as one of college baseball's best hitters, but as a potential legend for a legendary program. Guys.
Despite Hairston's heroics throughout the West Virginia series, manager Willie Bloomquist's team wasn't able to get it done, falling to 20-8 on the season. However, they had a chance to pull a Bob Seger and turn the page, taking on San Diego State the following day. Isabella Perez has more.
Number 25 ranked ASU baseball defeated the San Diego State Aztecs on Monday night, 6-2, following its series against then number 17th ranked West Virginia. The game started off slow and even consisted of countless scoreless frames. Catcher Brody Bridge put runs on the board for the Sun Devils with a double to right field, resulting in 2 runs. Heading into the 5th inning tied, infielder Landon Hairston sent one out of the park, giving Arizona State the lead. Finishing the 7th frame, Hairston hit his 2nd home run of the game, recording his 17th homer of this season. Starting pitcher Easton Barrett kicked off this game slow, giving up 2 home runs to SDSU designated hitter Tice Peterson. In Barrett's last 3 appearances, he's given up only 2 runs across 10 innings while walking 3 and allowing 4 hits. Reliever Colin Linder came in and recovered with 4 scoreless innings and 6 strikeouts from the junior. Linder allowed 1 hit and 1 walk, earning his 2nd win of the season.
This weekend, the Sun Devils make the trek down south to take on the Arizona Wildcats in a 3-game series at High Corbett Field. The Sun Devils already beat the Wildcats at Phoenix Municipal Stadium this season, routing them by a final score of 10-4. Home runs from outfielders Landon Hairston and Dean Toigo sparked the victory, and it looks to give them confidence playing against a team that made it all the way to Omaha last season. The boys in Tucson, however, haven't had the best season so far. They are 11 games below 500 and are toward the bottom of the Big 12 Conference. If they want to have any chance at getting back to Omaha this season, they must find a way to win this series. The Wildcats are led by infielder Tony Lira. The freshman is batting .367 and leads the team in hits and runs. The Sun Devils took Game 1 last night, winning 6-4, and Game 2 of the series is tonight with first pitch at 6:05 p.m. local time on ESPN+.
With how well Landon Hairston's been playing, Rome, you can't help but wonder who the next Sun Devil to enter the show will be.
Yeah, that's right, Cash. There's a lot of elite talent that has come from Arizona State, so it's exciting to highlight those players. Who was one former Sun Devil that you were looking at this MLB season?
Well, Rome, it's without a doubt got to be the first overall pick and Tigers first baseman Spencer Torkelson. Many people, Tigers fans in particular, were expecting a lot out of him this season, especially after a 31 home run and 78 RBI season with a .240 average and 789 OPS. But so far, heading into the series against the St. Louis Cardinals, he's 3 for 20 with 3 RBIs and yet to hit his first home run. Today, he went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts, and he's sporting a negative WAR. But to all Tigers and ASU fans watching, don't fret just yet. We're not even 4% into 2026, a year where he was projected a slight dip in production according to Baseball Reference. But once he gets his footing, things will be just fine in the Motor City for baseball. Rome, who are you keeping an eye on?
Well, Cash, one Sun Devil that I'm looking at to have an impact this year is Minnesota Twins second baseman Luke Keeschel. Last year, the former Sun Devil had an injury-riddled rookie season. However, in 49 games, he compiled a .302 batting average and an .827 OPS, along with 4 home runs and 28 RBIs. Keeschel is hoping to take that next step this season and lead the next young core in the Twins organization. In his only season in Tempe in 2023, Keeschel accumulated an over 1,100 OPS. So he will look to lean on that success as well and transfer it into the big leagues.
And we also can't forget about some other notables, such as Milwaukee Brewers manager Pat Murphy, coming off of back-to-back NL Manager of the Year awards, as well as Arizona Diamondbacks pitcher Merrill Kelly, Washington Nationals pitcher Trevor Williams, and Kansas City Royals pitcher Alec Marsh. They all start this season on the injured list and are looking for some bounce-back campaigns, but with 150-plus games left to be played, there's still a lot of time for these beloved Sun Devils to stand out.
Now let's head to the gym, where ASU Gymnastics hosted a regional for the NCAA tournament at Desert Financial Arena. Our Anna Hallgren has more information on how the Sun Devils fared.
Arizona State Gymnastics had the home advantage competing at Desert Financial Arena this week for NCAA regionals. The team qualified for the competition for the 8th straight season. On Wednesday, it outperformed the University of Arizona Wildcats, where the Sun Devils pulled ahead in the last rotation, ultimately sealing the victory by 0.5 of a point. After the meet, head coach Jay Santos shared his thoughts.
I'm thrilled. I'm so happy for the team. I'm so happy for them. They fought really hard to keep things moving and to keep it going. But we just got to knock out our in-state rival out of the tournament.
However, on the second night of competition, the Gym Devils did not see as much luck. The squad went against number 3 ranked Florida, number 14 Cal, and number 20 Penn State. Placing last in the quad meet by about 2 points, the maroon and gold season has come to an end in 2026. In past years, ASU has made it past the second regional round, but within the last 2 years, the team has been stuck in a rut of making it to regionals, but not making it far in the postseason. It was an exciting year for the Sun Devils, and we will see what is in store for next season. Back to you at the desk.
Thank you for that, Anna. As we move on to Whiteman Tennis Center, we start with the men's side of things, where they head into the month of April with a 14-8 record. ASU started off 9-0, but have since dropped 5 of their last 7, including a heartbreaker on March 28th to then 9th-ranked Arizona in Tucson. As of the latest ITA rankings, Sparky's squad sits at 29th in the country and 5th in the Big 12, which looks to be a very difficult conference this year, with Texas Christian, the aforementioned team down south, and Baylor all sitting inside the top 10. In the singles category, Bor Artnak is the only Devil inside the top 125, currently sitting at 69th in the country with an 8-5 record, including a 4-1 victory over TCU, but he's also responsible for a loss to Baylor as well as 2 to U of A. Meanwhile, in doubles, Arizona State doesn't field a duo inside the top 90, which is especially alarming considering the Fort Worth powerhouses in Cosme Roland DeRavel and Duncan Chan, who combined for a staggering 18-0 record, are placed number 1 in the nation. It's a tall task for the Devils the rest of the season, who have conference matchups against Texas Tech today, followed by Oklahoma State, BYU, and senior night against unranked UCF ahead of the Big 12 tournament later this month.
Over to the women's side of the court, where they have been flying high this season. The team is ranked 14th in the country, and singles player Amelia Tavarianite is ranked 26th in the country in the most recent ITA rankings. Amelia's 28 singles wins through March 29th is tied for the 6th most in school history and is the 13th Sun Devil to stack up 28 or more wins in a single season. The Sun Devils are currently on a 5-game winning streak and have only dropped 3 matches in that span. This Friday and Sunday is the final time the Sun Devils will play in Tempe this season, as the Texas Tech Red Raiders and Colorado Buffaloes make their way to Whiteman Tennis Center.
Finally is the championship-winning men's swim and dive team, who showed up and showed out in Atlanta to bring home some hardware for the trophy case. En route to a 4th straight conference winning season and their 3rd top 5 finish nationally over the course of the past 4 years, outstanding performances from Ilya Karun, Johnny Kulo, and Remy Fabiani and Adam Chaney helped lead the way to a 4th place finish for ASU behind Texas, Florida, and Indiana. Karun placed first in the 200-meter fly with a time of 1 minute and 37.66 seconds, a whole 0.6 seconds faster than his first place time as a freshman. He now joins Sun Devil Leon Marchand as the only Sun Devils to win multiple individual national championships. In the 400-meter free relay, Kulo brought home the win with a final time of 40.07 seconds, falling 40.29, 40.85, and 41.17 second times from Karun, Fabiani, and Chaney, respectively. Meanwhile, for the women's, they finished tied for 37th as a team with Virginia Tech and Penn, with Virginia taking the gold. Freshman Albane Kakko and senior Ginger McMahon both earned their first All-American honors, with junior Miriam Sheehan and sophomore Julia Ullman now 4-time All-Americans with their performance in the 200 medley relay. Kakko in particular placed 21st overall in the 100 free, clocking in at 47.82 seconds. She now holds all 4 of the fastest times in program history after setting the ASU record with a 47.42 time in the Big 12 championships in February. The men's and women's teams just kept swimming, and they both swam their hearts out. For their efforts, they will forever be immortalized in Sun Devil history for what they accomplished in the ATL.
And that will do it for another jam-packed episode of Inside the Inferno. Cash, it was awesome getting to work with you today. And listen, I'm already looking forward to the women's Final Four taking place right down the street at Mortgage Matchup Center. And of course, the men's iteration in Indianapolis this weekend. You got UConn, Illinois, Arizona, Michigan, 4 of the best teams in the country going at it. Should be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, should be an exciting weekend in Sports Room. It was awesome to get to share with you the desk as well. If you want to keep up with everything Arizona State Athletics, don't forget to follow us on Instagram and X at Inferno Intel, and check out our website at infernointelmedia.com. For Rome, Katie, the rest of our cast, and the crew behind the scenes, I'm Cash Marino Versailles saying so long from Studio 6, and thank you for tuning in to another edition of Inside the Inferno.